Disclaimer: the following work is intended for mature audiences, for it contains homophobic language, mild racism, sexual themes, and Fox News levels of conservative bullshit. However, it is all played for laughs and thusly should not be taken seriously, nor does it reflect the views of me or the writer. But if any of that makes you uncomfortable, viewer discretion is advised. Also, general spoilers for Omori applies here. Mari Prays the Gay Away by Shard of Hope. Chapter 1. The Magic of Bigotry at Work. Mari spent a lot of time kneeling in front of her bed, and no, not because of Hero. Not this time at least. No, she was finding power in the Lord to resist. Through God, all things were possible. His power were endless, and as his daughter, all she had to do was ask, "Dear Lord, deliver me from temptation. I am just a perfect girl with no shortcomings, suffering from the impurity of others." Of course, it was someone else's fault, not Mari's. It was the cashier's fault for wearing a low-cut shirt that encouraged Mari to look at the sin that was the female form. It was Hero's mom's fault for bending over and showing her rear she just wanted to bury her face in. It was not her weakness of will, it was the exotic curves of Basil's new caretaker. Just seeing her made Mari need to go into Bible study ASAP. The skin, the hair, those big No! She needed to pray for these temptresses. It was their fault for being so tempting and not looking plain, boring, and unflattering like herself. How could they call themselves good children without hiding away their natural forms and not to tempt others? After all, it was wrong to assume men, or Mari, could resist the sight of soft flesh, of any part of a woman. They were asking for it, really. These thoughts were strong, obscene, so tempting. No, she needed to pray that this demon out of her soul. This being that tempting devil, women. The gay was trying to pry her away from the world of the Lord. But she would refuse. "Lord, I am not a dyke. I promise. Help me banish these thoughts from my mortal soul. I want to join you in the kingdom of heaven. I will fall and be a daughter of Sodom if I am tended by every pair of sinful girl lips. They are just so smoochable." No, she was losing the battle for her heterosexuality, and with that, her mortal soul. She could have ascended to heaven face deep in fat titties. She prayed and prayed and prayed, her forehead throbbing with holy effort. She would banish all gay thoughts and replace them with Jesus. Well, okay, maybe 1 or 2 gay thoughts, as a treat. She just kept praying, an odd straining feeling filling her very core. She was so close. She pushed one final time, mentally recited every slur she knew before she burst, a shockwave knocking her into the wall as her mental homophobia echoed throughout the town. Was that the fabled female orgasm? It didn't feel as good as the internet said it did, but no matter. Did she succeed? She thought of Polly. Her sun-kissed skin, her small smirk that she gained when she saw Mari. Her thick, fat thighs. Nope, didn't work. The temptation was still as strong as ever, but something had happened. Peeking out of her room, it was oddly quiet. Kel and Sunny were playing downstairs, but not a peep echoed through the house. That was odd. Kel could never shut his fucking mouth, be it hell or high water. Creeping down the stairs, she peeked into the living room and found nothing. While Sunny's shoes and socks were next to his pet rock, along with Kel's light-up Skechers. Odd. Sunny never took off his shoes and socks, even to shower, yet here they were. Exploring the town, however, very few people out and about. It was almost deserted. Even the preacher was gone when she went to beg for forgiveness. She was at her wit's end. Then she remembered her shining light, her hunk, the most male in the history of the world. Hero. However, when she came barging in, uninvited, no one was there. Normally this would be rude, but this was Mari. She could obviously do no wrong. He wasn't there, despite saying that he was gonna go do his chores instead. It was a bit fruity to do a womanly's duties, but she overlooked it. At her wit's end, she headed to the home of the great temptress herself. Sunny could be convinced to take his shoes off by anyone. It was Basil. He was a sweet, good boy. He sang in the choir, even did charity work. Too bad that fruit was going to hell, no doubt. The way he walked, the way he talked, and looked at her brother. That limp-wristed boy was going to drag her brother into the deep, dark pits of hell. He would have to exorcise that dick-sucking spirit that was brewing within the 16-year-old. However, when contemplating how she would beat it out of him, she came upon a ghastly sight. Basil's body was crumpled onto the ground. His leg popped at a wrong angle, his other ankle twisted slightly. Both arms were spread across his back, sticking out at crooked. His face planted into the wet dirt that was quickly turning into mud below him. But what shook her above it was the apparition hovered. Sighing, it dragged the transparent hand down its face. The bag more visible on the pale as death skin, its lower half just the trail of a cartoon ghost.
Of course my body ends up in the most embarrassing pose physically possible.
Mari accidentally kicked a bucket as she slowly backed away from the specter. His head whipped in her direction.
You! What the fuck did you do, Mari? Why am I a ghost?
She held up a crucifix, shaking.
Get back, fiend! I will!
It was quickly snatched and flung into the tomatoes.
I'm Christian, Mari. Why would it affect me, you dipshit? What did you do?
It's rude to assume I did. She was interrupted by Basil staring daggers at her.
Mari, my soul was knocked out of my body via a shockwave of slurs being said in your voice. How in any conceivable universe was this not your fault? Shut up! I can't be wrong. You know this!
She tried to jab her finger into his chest, but it just went through.
Mari, we've been over this. You can be Christian and be wrong. They are not mutually exclusive, you dumb bitch.
His words fell on deaf ears, like always. Mari decided to talk about something else. Not because he was right, but it's because it's what she wanted.
It's not my fault you got your soul knocked out of your sinful body. Clearly your gay ways had weakened the bond between your soul and your body. Maybe it fell out of your gaping rear.
Mari held her head up high, looking down on the ghost. Well, she would have if he didn't just hover higher.
It's Adam and Eve, not Adam and—
Mari, I'm not gay. Her entire worldview just shattered in front of her. He wasn't gay? But his hair, his shoes, him squealing like a pussy even at the smallest startles. It couldn't be true, right? Her homophobia witch-hunting skills were finally honed, gleaned from her mild interest in women. Okay, moderate desire of women. Okay, complete obsession with every facet of the female form.
I'm bisexual, you dipshit. Now can you please grab my body and drag me out of the mud? I don't want it to drown. Ah! I knew it! That's just a secret word that the gays use for their double agents. You want to corrupt my brother with your sinful ways by pretending to like the proper sex. And then you'll seduce him with men's fashion and higher property values. Then you'll lead him to the true evil, reproductive rights and using rainbows. Rainbows aren't yours, they're God's!
Basil just stared at her this entire rant. This wasn't the first time she got off about some unhinged homophobic rant.
Did you hear this one from Reddit? Or 4chan this time?
This was meant to be sarcastic, but her eyes lit up. Oh, Jesus, no.
Not this time. Although they aren't right with the Lord, they at least know the truth about the gay agenda.
I learned this from Own the Libtard's 1966. By divine intervention, this boomer bullshit was interrupted with the sound of the holy host. 7 trumpets blared as a beam of light hit the wet soil, radiant flowers blooming on the contact. On white wings he descended, perfect ebony skin, glistening abs, and muscles upon muscles as he landed gently onto this earthly realm. His eyes were shrouded with a hood, the most male being Mari had laid her eyes on, but it did nothing for her. Huh. Must be the shock of seeing such a holy being. Of course it was your bullshit that broke the fabric of reality. Ramsey, whose name they just knew somehow, facepalmed. Mari was stunned. This wasn't holy behavior.
Hey, you shouldn't swear. You're an emissary of God.
Basil was treated to this buff hunk of a flying man making a jerk-off motion and blowing a raspberry at Mari. Okay, maybe getting the soul knocked out of him was worth it. Yes, child, I cannot take the Lord's name in vain, but I can tell how badly you fucked up. You somehow prayed so hard, you banished everyone that wasn't straight within a 2-mile radius. Even Jesus is confused how exactly you managed that. No, your ego was just strong enough to do that. Basil was just in awe of this lad. Mari was always able to skirt by with her lunatic behavior. She was the perfect child, a loving sister. Basil loved Mari, but Jesus, did she have an ego and strange ideas that seemed to change by the week. Her being called out by some pillar of authority was orgasmic. Besides the fact, Ramsey looked like a Greek god helped things. All he was missing was Sunny feeding him Greeks and the look would be complete. Wait.
Wait, Sunny was banished? Where? He's my—
Mari was glaring daggers at him, waiting for him to slip up. Thankfully, her ego provided an answer to this problem years ago.
He's my very good friend, and when we go to college, roommates, I care about him deeply.
The angel sighed as he looked at Mari. This one banished them all to hell, except you. Apparently, she doesn't think bisexuality exists, so it separates your soul from your corporeal form. Picking up the comatose body of Basil, he brushed off the dirt before depositing him into a wagon. I'm going to go get all the others you banished, but unfortunately, she'll have to return your friends and fix—
But they were queer and here. Aren't they all going to end up hell anyway? I just sped at the Lord's work.
Mari couldn't comprehend that she had done wrong. No, her mother had instilled a sense that she would always do right and do no wrong. She had 3 nervous breakdowns to prove it, goddammit. Besides, if she had made a mistake, it was for the best, surely. Mari, man was made in God's image, as well as women, and also the hippo, the bull, and the peacock. A little less so, of course. He would be attracted to what he created. Ramsay gestured to himself. God made the angels, and he made us look like JoJo OCs. Do you think God, in any way, shape, or form, is straight and hates the gays? Mari just nodded her empty head and gave a thumbs up.
Yes, of course he does. He's testing me with filthy female flesh right now.
No, you stupid cunt! He's omnisexual! You don't automatically go to hell if you're not straight. Sweet baby Jesus, you are stupid!
I get it.
Mari whispered to herself, slowly stroking her chin. Had Ramsay done it? Had he broken through her thick, women-lusting skull? Before he was about to get his hopes up, the twink apparition just grabbed his shoulder and shook his head.
Just wait. The spiral's gonna start. She's gonna somehow convince herself that she's right. It's easier to let her burn herself out. This is a test. Yes, a test of my conviction. I can't take this weirdo in a toga seriously. There's no proof he's an angel. Maybe he's a cosplayer. Yeah.
I'm so sorry, Basil, but God gave me orders to give her a quest to save your friends from hell. Seems you even find your friends adorable? Basil rolled his eyes. Wait, where is Sunny? Sunny was having a fantastic time. He was warm, he had a big fuzzy blanket, and he was surrounded by cats. It had been a bit scary when a bunch of slurs knocked him off his feet, but honestly, this wasn't that weird. Sure, finding himself in an opulent home with a garish gold and red motif was a start. However, having what seemed like endless new cats to pet made any worries he had melt. Maybe he was knocked out and this is what his sleep-deluded fantasy. Anyway, he wasn't questioning it. As he pet a rather fat tabby, who he named Taffy for his blob-like orange appearance, his nemesis charged through the open door. Oh, he was asleep then. Omori was his self-proclaimed nemesis, claiming that he was meant to kill his sister. Honestly, Omori was harmless, besides the apparent need for sibling murder. He was like a 12-year-old with a knife that showed up now and then when he slept. He would scream that Mari was overbearing, a perfectionist, and to throw his violin down the stairs. Honestly, it didn't make that much sense, like most dreams. Sunny thought he was referring to the recital incident, but that was resolved by talking to each other. Omori, however, was convinced that that was not meant to happen, and trying to recreate some dumb event that was meant to happen. Ha! I found you, you emo shit! You thought you could escape my torment by teleporting into my boss's house? Think again! I can touch you now! I'm not going to kill my sister Omori. That makes no sense. Sure, she's a bit arrogant and gullible, but not bad enough to kill. Although, her new kick is slightly annoying, I'll admit. He just ignored the monochromatic child who stomped his foot indignantly. He should be scared of him. He was the sleep demon, and all Sunny did was keep petting cats. To be fair, they did look fluffy. One little pet wouldn't hurt. No! He had a job to do! Fine, no more subtlety, no more weird dreamlands, and no more games. I'm just going to stab you! He was filling out his purpose, his one desire, and there was no stab wound. His knife just bent comically with each stab, and Sunny's shoulders were shaking. What the? I replaced your knife with a rubber one like 2 years ago. Was seeing how much of my dreams I could control. How did you not notice, child me? Omori was shaking now, and Sunny was just endlessly amused. Although he was in no hurry to grow up, there were some perks. Besides being able to take Basil out to eat, he could tease younger kids with ease. Speaking of Basil, Omori seemed to be an inch away from throwing a Basil-flavored tantrum.
I'll kill you!
Omori, you missed your chance. Relax.
Both boys whipped around to look at the leaning figure at the entrance in the quaint living room. Before their eyes stood the stereotypical devil. The red-skinned, lengthy form was just clad in a fuzzy robe that hung off his frame. His black hair and goatee wet from the bath. He dried off his face with a hand towel before it burst into flames. Bags under his eyes and the glass of wine told Sonny one thing. He was in tired wine mom mode, and he should keep his mouth fucking shut. But he was so close. All he had to do was throw his violin down the stairs and push his sister onto it, and not realize that she was most likely still alive, just knocked out. Then Basil would see it all, after coming over at the perfect time and help frame it as a suicide. And the paramedics and cops would not notice the obvious setup, and the devil snapped, and Omori would no longer had a mouth. A muffled scream followed as they clawed where their flapping gob used to be. The devil just pinched the bridge of his nose and sighed.
And you failed and stayed with a perfectly normal kid for 4 years, instead of reporting back as you should have, effectively goofing off because of pride. Omori, I am very disappointed in you, young man.
Mori just hung their head as the red demon just walked over and pat his head.
Look, we all fail sometimes, and that's okay. But you can't waste more time trying to salvage a situation that's already over and done. Okay, champ?
He waited for the reply and got none as Omori just stared at him, deadpan, with no mouth.
Oh, shit. Sorry.
His mouth was returned as Omori took a deep breath. Apparently, he was close to passing out. Panic can make you forget you have a nose, it seems. Yes, sir. I just didn't want to let you down.
It's okay, kid. Just go to the assignment office and get a new one. No break for you, considering the extended absence. Oh, and take that ridiculous outfit off.
Mori sighed as he was engulfed in a crimson flame, his disguise being torn out violently in a burst of hellfire. He looked the same, just with a tiny pair of black horns on his forehead. He slunked off as the devil slumped, letting his authoritative posture being replaced with exhaustion.
Oh, sorry about that. Young demons always jump the gun.
He just flopped down on a pillow next to Sonny, grabbing a rugged-looking alley cat that melted under his rubs. Sonny felt that there should be more questions he should be asking. Why was he in the devil's fucking house? How did he get here? Why was there a demon that looked like a monochromic doppelganger of him at 12 years old, plus horns? However, these questions were unimportant. They were cats to pet.
What do you mean my boyfriend's soul was yeeted into Satan's fucking house?
Hell, half no fury like Basil's scorn, it seemed. Ramsey shrunk slightly at this verbal assault. Thankfully, Mari was too busy deluding herself to notice.
To be fair, Satan is pretty chill. He won't do anything to him, most likely.
Most likely! That cute ass better not have a single scratch on it or I will pluck you like a fucking chicken after I lynch Mari for starting this whole fucking mess!
Speaking of her, why are you friends with such a, questionable person?
He glanced over to her. She was talking to herself in a pocket mirror now.
She doesn't seem that pleasant.
Well, normally, she isn't like this. Mari is a nice, smart person without a bad bone in her body. But
Basil rolled his eyes, gesturing at the neurotic mess.
she is sort of gullible and easily influenced. She went to one Bible study before she came back for the summer break, and she was like this. She only went for the free brownies.
Wait, a few hours around some homophobes and she...
Yep, she's all in. It wasn't this bad before she got access to the internet, but with a smartphone and a 12-hour bus ride, this is the worst one too. At least some of them were fun. Communist Mari just spent a lot of time shitting on capitalism and sharing food.
Base.
I know, right? Until she started to kick people off of private land, and we gotta deprogram her by binge-watching sweetheart movies for a few hours. We make a day out of it. It's fun.
Ramsey blinked.
Wait, how many different times has this happened?
Let's see. There's Magic Mari, Cottagecore Mari, Emo Mari, Nice Girl Mari.
Hasn't she been dating Hiro for years?
Basil rolled his eyes.
Yeah, he tries his best. He really does. But combine narcissism with self-delusion, and you got yourself one hell of an odd set of quirks.
So why is she still like this? Can't you just fix her?
Basil groaned as he rubbed his temples.
We could, but it's harder this time. She's stronger than me, first off, so I can't just tie her up on my own this time. Kel's at basketball camp this week, Hero's on his way back today, and Aubrey was too busy making out with Kim, and Sunny...
Let me guess. Doesn't want to tie up his own sister?
No, he finds it hilarious. He's never helpful in these situations. He just likes to watch the carnage unfold while quietly laughing. He says it's funny not being the fuck-up for once. The expression of anger melted before it even had a chance to set. Man, I love that little shit. What did you say?
Mari was suddenly upon them. Half an hour of talking to herself in the mirror done, even in ethereal form, the boy was sweating.
Wait, I'm a ghost. What the fuck can you do? I'm dating your brother. In fact, we've been dating for 2 years. 2! You pretend you forgot. You helped us hook up, you homophobic hoe. I'm not gonna tiptoe around this shit because you got thirst trapped by some Bible thumper. I even did things with Sunny. Adult things. You know the things.
Basil felt exhilarated, floating on air even. Is this what standing up for yourself felt like? He needed to do this more often. Hell, why didn't he? Maybe because he was blushing like mad, or was it something else? Mari said nothing. With a blank face, she simply pulled out a pitchfork of the compost pile.
Ha! That'll do nothing to me.
He just watched with growing concern as she walked past him and towards his mortal shell. Oh yeah, it's because he was a wimp and the light breeze could beat the shit out of him.
Oh, what am I gonna do? Well, I can't stab you, but let's see how your body looks with some holes that my brother hasn't filled. Ari, no! I haven't even got to second base yet!
Ramsey thankfully yanked it from her hands.
Jesus, no! We don't have time for these petty squabbles. What happened at that Bible study group to make you like this?
Mari was too busy staring at that pretty redhead for the entire Bible study to listen to what they were saying. Honestly, she just wanted their free brownies, and also to just burn the last 2 days before going home to Hero, and maybe doing a little bit of mental window shopping. Honestly, she just tuned out as soon as they started yelling about gay people. They were pretty homophobic, but free food was free food, and if Chick-fil-A proved anything, it's that hate made food taste better. How could someone look thick in a white robe? It took 4 minutes of shaking Mari to snap back to reality. Sister, are you unwell? You've been spacing out for a while, and we haven't talked about the horrors of the gay. Perhaps you need something to eat? She was handed a brownie that she happily scarfed down. It was, hands down, the best thing she had eaten in her life. If you want to, maybe, you could come back to my dorm for some private Bible study. Did this bitch blush? Was she coming on to her? Mari was straight, but damn if there was one person. It turned out it was just Bible study. Not that surprising considering Samantha bragged about praying the gay out of her soul, but Mari was and always will be a sucker for a pretty face, even her own. When she gave herself hourly pep talks reassuring that she was the most perfect being she'd ever seen. Even Samantha agreed when they practiced how to tell gay teens how they should die, so this must be all fact. And then, gave me a chaste kiss on the cheek. It was a good day. Mari sighed as Basil caught some angelic side-eye.
Why do you even hang out with her? She seems sort of awful.
As our friend. She's kind and great to hang out with when she isn't on one of her episodes. Hell, she even helped me and Sunny connect. Just seems to have conveniently forgotten when that redhead installed that homophobic bullshit into her head.
Just how attractive can some oh, damn.
Basil just showed him on his phone. How a phone had enough of a soul to be emulated into the afterlife, only Apple would know.
Yeah, I mean, damn. I can't say any of us would have done any better.
I'm guessing she's some kind of temptation demon or something along those lines. How are we going to convince her to retrieve her friends from hell like this? We don't have the time to deprogram this dumbass.
Well, what's the rush?
Satan has infinite cats at his disposal and he's hanging out with your boyfriend.
Shit! I'll kill Satan before he can steal my man! Watch this!
Basil floated up to a suspicious-looking Mari.
Hey, Mari, you wanna know a secret? Only me and Sunny know about it.
Making it a point to look away with him, muttering something about the weight of his sin.
We were gonna take you to Chuck E. Cheese when you got back, but everyone was gonna go, you know.
Basil studied his nails, making it a point not to look at the slightly vibrating Mari.
But it looks like we're gonna have to cancel. Oh, What a shame.
Send us to hell! I don't care about the gay, but I care about my Lord and Master Charles Entertainment Cheese III! Ramsey was not used to humans touching him, or being able to shake him around like a limp noodle. She looked half-possessed, eyes alight with the desire for the robotic rat's pleasure palace.
Seriously, forget it.
With a snap, an elevator sprung out of the ground. The doors opening to a gilded compartment with crushed velvet walls, small hovering demon in a bellhop's office.
Beelzy's here. We'll take you where you need to go, and you'll be safe with him.
Hazel was a little more than concerned about how a demon eyed his comatose body as it was pushed into the elevator via a little red dragon, wincing a bit as it bumped.
How will you guarantee that?
Kid, happy wife, happy life.
The imp swatted Ramsey's ass. Even under the hood, they could see the blush.
Beelzy, not in front of the kids.
Oh, God. This is how I die, isn't it? Being trusted to an angel's demonic fuck buddy and my boyfriend's temporary homophobic sister.
He drifted in, Mari not following far behind, taking one of his spare shovels with her.
Hey, I'll return it. I'm not gonna clean the demon blood off of it, though. That's gross. If it's this bad for me, then how bad must it be for Sonny?
That thought, they descended, the blonde shaking at the imagined horrors lying in wait. Ramsey was not used to humans touching him or being able to shake him around like a limp noodle. She looked half-possessed, eyes alight with a desire for the robotic rat's pleasure palace. I can't fucking say that, man.